Hey everybody, welcome to the Cucco Attack, episode 15. Today is July 11th, 7/11. Make sure
when we're recording.
Yeah.
It will probably be later once it's posted, but
But today was free Slurpee day, which didn't happen, but I still went and got my Slurpee as always. So hopefully you did the same. And we've got a bunch of news that's come out since our last episode, where we were trying to spawn a Nintendo Direct with our, unluckiness.
We did not get a Nintendo Direct, but we did relive a long desired childhood dream of mine, so at least one wish came true.
Yeah, so we've got a lot to talk about. I'm Chad Hembrock. With me as always is
Patrick Hughes here.
And we're going to go ahead and jump into this and hopefully not take all night, which we say that every episode. So, but I don't know, let's start with games we've been playing lately.
Yeah.
So we've
been playing a lot of different games. I picked up on Steam recently from their many sales that they had going on. So I chose a handful of games that have the, I believe what it's called, remote play feature, so that other people can play, but only one person has to own the game. So if you're interested, these are definitely a few games that we kind of had some fun playing, which have been like Golf with Friends, Stick Fight the Game, and Hidden Through Time, among others. But we'll talk a little more detail on those three, at least, for sure. Especially Golf with Friends. We've been playing probably the most of those three.
Yeah, Golf with Friends is cool, or Golf with Your Friends, I guess is what it's called.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I know we've kind of called it that the whole time, but
abbreviated.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, if you like, simplistic mini golf games, that you can play with your friends, it's it's the game to go to for sure. The remote play feature it's a little laggy, a little bit of pixelation in the thing, but that could be our internet connections. It could be all sorts of things causing that.
Right.
But still, I mean, it works well enough where, we've had three of us playing at the same time and, just chatting on Discord or whatever. And it's been good. It was a good time for sure. We did a live stream of it a few nights ago, as well as one of the other games we played, the Hidden Through Time game, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But yeah, Golf with Your Friends it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of custom maps. There's a lot of built-in maps as well, so
lots of different themes to go and play through, pirates and space and all sorts of you get, even had like worms and other like
Team 17 properties and stuff like that.
Team 17, yeah.
Yeah, so it was it's definitely cool. Check it out if you like golf games. I think it's definitely worth the pickup. I should just pick it up myself too, that way we have two copies of it and we can just play it without using a remote play. It'd probably run a little better, and it's probably worth it, for sure. So we played one night. We played the stick fight the game for a while with three of us.
I had a lot of fun. I don't know.
It's fun. It is a little laggy, and for me, like when you get a weapon. So what you do in this, it's kind of like, it's almost like Smash Brothers with stick figures, but it's like insta death if you get like hit. So it's kind of like one hit, one kill sort of. But there's like traps you can fall into pits, and you can smash somebody and
like death traps and
like what?
I don't know. Even though the controls are like super wonky, I feel like the wonkiness is part of the appeal of just like how slapstick it can be.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was definitely a lot of fun. I did enjoy it. It was definitely just stupid fun. Like there's times where like I didn't even come near you, or I would just die standing there because I wasn't paying attention, or I would just stand to the side and duck, and then you and Sadish kill each other, and then I'd win.
Or some snake would shoot from a bazooka, and then it would start attacking yourself.
Yeah.
And just...
You like jump into like a laser beam, not realizing, and just it was fun.
Or up to time, like the backfire of the weapon was so powerful, you just launch yourself off the stage.
Yeah, that game's it's pretty weird for sure, but it was fun. I mean, it's definitely fun. I don't know if I would have purchased it myself, but you've had it and it was fun. So But the one that I really like that you've been playing, I mean, obviously golf with your friends is great because I love golf games. But the Hidden Through Time game is really cool. That like, it's if you haven't played it, it's basically Where's Waldo on your PC, and I love those.
It's like with different like stick figures going through like periods of time, like prehistoric and medieval and Egyptian and so forth.
Yeah, and it's really cool because like you never find like the same item like back to back in levels usually, and it just reminds me of a kid like going to the back of the Waldo book and finding
even when you do like you're like, there's that knife. Oh wait, we're not looking for it in this level.
Yeah.
You're like, darn it. There's that alligator again. Oh no.
Yeah. So it's really cool though. It's taking me back. It's really chill. The music is like, it like puts you to sleep, but like in a good way. It just like mellows you out. So we've kind of ended nights on that where like we've been playing like either golf or we'll play like Paladins or something like that, and then we'll jump into Hidden Through Time and just kind of relax. And next it's like constant yawning, and I'm sure you'll actually see that in the stream that we did, because that was another game that we included on that stream. And by the end of it, it's just like, oh, I'm done, can we go? And but you want to keep going and finding stuff. So, and there's also online like custom maps for that too, so you kind of have,
so basically all the assets that are used in the game you can use to make your own levels and then share them online or play other people's creations, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so we did that, and the online one was just as fun as one of the ones built in, so we'll definitely have more fun with that. I actually almost picked that up on Switch myself because I was laying in bed one night where I didn't get online because I just wasn't feeling up to it, and I was like, you know what, that'd be a really chill thing to do right now. And the Switch seems like a perfect like console for that, but it might be a pain, honestly, not using a mouse though. So if you if you can touchscring and handheld mode or something, use
a touchscreen and handout. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to look up a review on that and see, because that might be worth grabbing. I think it was like $15, so wasn't that bad. So. But yeah, I mean, that's really been it as far as like what we've been playing together.
Yeah, of course there's always more of the same, but those are like the new games we want to just highlight like together wise.
Yeah, and then we've been playing Jackbox games with a bunch of other friends, and actually one of my buddies gave me access to his Steam library so we could play like party packs 4, 5, and 6. So that was pretty cool because we were kind of playing 3 constantly, and so we've been playing some of those new games as well, and that's more of the same for the most part, trivia and just stupidity. So but a lot of fun, still enjoying that. So we try to do that at least once a weekend from how it's been. If we can get past lag issues, it'll be a little bit better. so outside of that, last week last episode, I guess, I forgot.
You forgot to mention one game.
Yeah, I forgot to mention I played Minit for the first time, and I always
great game.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and it was something that I heard about, and I was kind of turned off by, because I was like, that doesn't sound like it's going to be fun at all. But I got it as part of the social justice pack from that developer site.
I had like 700 plus games,
and then they added a bunch too. Like Celeste ended up being on there, and like a bunch, a bunch of like really good like indie PC games ended up on there. And I don't know what's still included, but if you bought it, you get access to all that. So I should go back and look at it. But Minit was one of them, so I was like, well, let me give it a try. I've been wanting to check this out, but I was kind of turned off. I mean, it sounded good. I know you've told me to play it, but started playing it, and then when I realized how the mechanic worked, where you play for a minute at a time, once I saw that you keep your progress as you go through, and
there's a means in which it saves progress of like items and like checkpoints where you kind of respawn.
Yeah, so once I saw that, I was hooked. I thought this was really cool, so I actually streamed that on Discord, and Patrick watched me finish that. So, but that was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that game. I think it was definitely worth checking out. It was only like 2-3 hours, maybe, if that, total.
Yeah, it's a pretty short game. I feel like you can beat it in 2 to 3 hours, and then it'll probably take longer if you want to 100%.
Yeah, I started to kind of go through that, and then I was just like, I'm done. But
yeah, it's a little more annoying to 100% because of the mechanic. Like, it doesn't lend itself well to exploration. Yeah. But just playing through the main game is just a lot of fun. It's very clever, very good sense of humor, and just very novel kind of game.
Yeah, but it was cool, and I meant to mention it last time. I just didn't do it. Totally forgot until after we were uploading it. I was like, oh crap, I didn't talk about Minit. And it was just because I saw it. I saw the folder in my downloads folder because I reformatted my computer.
That's right.
But yeah, so besides that, the big thing I've been playing is I finally did a complete run through of Earthbound for the first time ever.
You mentioned last episode having that itch for a good RPG.
And it definitely scratched that itch. Very chill game. I enjoyed it. I mean, there's definitely times where I struggle in RPGs. Patrick saw that with the early on streams that I was showing him while playing on Discord. But it was a lot of fun. The game's really good. I liked it. My favorite mechanic of the game is by far just the auto fighting if your level's higher than the enemies, how they run away from you, or if they hit you, even if they come at you and your level's stronger, you'll auto win. I know there's a certain ratio. I don't know the exact, but
or just like anytime you beat one of the big bosses and then you start leaving that area and how everyone just starts running away, like, oh gosh.
And that's like so cool. And I think more RPGs need to have that mechanic in it, and I think it would make it more enjoyable. Because I was never like, that's my thing with like battling in RPGs is it gets very tedious. So I wasn't really that bored in this game, even when I did have random battles. It was just like I was strong enough where I could just tap A and get through it until I got to the bosses. Until I started getting into the further levels where I started getting wrecked a little bit by like the dinosaurs or some of the things out in the desert. And then especially in the end when you're going towards the final boss,
they start like reflecting attacks back
and
at you.
I started thinking about actually using my shields for once instead of just like healing everybody constantly. And it was still cool though. Like I was really glad to play it. And so one thing with Earthbound that's always hit me was I rented it as a kid, and the save on that game was at the very end. And I didn't really know it was the very end. And I tried starting my own game, but as a kid I wasn't really into RPGs at all, so I rented it because I thought the cover looked cool, like we always did as kids. And when I got it home, I was a robot because I was, if you haven't played the game, spoiler, but
you will become a robot.
There was a part where I was a robot and I didn't know like what I was supposed to do, and I just remember getting wrecked. And then I think I started a new game and I still didn't really understand what to do, just, because I was like 10 when the game came out and just never really got into RPGs at all until like a little bit later than that, when my buddy brought over Chrono Trigger, and then like I watched him play it and then kind of understood how you're supposed to play RPGs. But
it was kind of funny, like, my sister's husband had a similar experience because he never played RPGs either, and she was trying to show him Earthbound, and he just had no concept of like, well, I keep dying, I don't understand. She's like, you gotta buy food and like heal yourself. He's like,
yeah,
what?
That's what I think it was when I was a kid. Like I didn't think about any of that. I was just like, all right, well, just the whole like turn-based thing, and I was struggling with that a little bit in this too, because like at the very beginning when I started playing this game, like, I literally walked out of Ness's house and I got murdered by a crow. I died by, like, fighting the first enemy in the game because I kept missing. Like, every attack missed, and that really irritated me. And I was getting annoyed because I was like, this is why I don't like RPGs, because I have a bat. This is the first boss. are the first enemy you're fighting, and every time I took a swing, I'd miss, and then he'd peck my eyes for 13 damage. And it just did it like 6 times in a row, and it killed me. So I was like, what am I supposed to do there? Like, I don't even have anything to heal myself with, so...
I was like, Chad, sure we had a cookie. He was like, yeah, but I should
I knew I had a cookie, but it was like, I didn't expect to have to use that cookie on the first thing. Because I've played the game a bunch, like, in the past, up until, like... Threed, usually, like Happy Village or Threed, so, you know, which I've learned was pretty early in the game still, but but yeah, like I've never really had that experience before. I usually wouldn't die until like I got the Frank in the arcade. That's usually when like the first time I die, or fighting like some of the sharks on the street or something like that. But anyway, it was just cool to finally see like where, like when I got to that robot part, I was like, okay, so that's where the save file was when I was a kid, the first time I played it, and it was just fun. I enjoyed playing it. The final boss battle, I never would have figured out how to beat that if it wasn't for my buddy was watching our stream, Sadish, who we've talked about a few times here. He was watching me play it, and he hadn't watched any of the streams. He just saw that I told him I was near the end, and he was like, oh, dude, you have to...
should we say spoiler?
Yeah, we should say spoiler, I guess. So skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. But you have to pray. And, like, I never used that pray feature, other than one time Patrick was like, you should pray because you're about to die. And then I prayed and we won. And, like... I never would have used that against the final boss unless it does tell you, which I think you were saying that if you start to die, they will start to give you hints.
I can't entirely remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, but doing that I thought it was pretty cool how it, you prayed as Paula, and it shows you the all the different scenes of all the people that you helped or you worked with directly in the game, praying back to protect you. And that's how you end up, beating the evil in the game. So I thought that was pretty neat. And I like the little cutscenes and stuff. It just kind of gives you this wholesome feeling in the game of like everyone's, remembering you and working together. And I think, so even when you beat it, I think one of my favorite parts of the game was just how you didn't just beat the game and then you're done, cutscene. You actually get to escort Paula back home and then walk back home to your house and have your ending adventure. Like you're ending your adventure and going back home where you started. I thought that was a neat little touch too. And then you get home and it's like, off to bed. Are you sure? Are you ready to go to bed? And then you go to bed and you can't save anymore, obviously, because it's, kicked you out to that point. But I really like the game. It was really weird. It was trippy as hell in some parts. Drinking the tea, and they tell you a story, but you've got this acid trip mode 7 background going on, and
yeah, I remember as I was watching you play, lots of different moments of the stream, and just hearing myself say sections of the game out loud. I was like, yeah, this game is trippy as all heck. It's hearing myself say
it. It's pretty crazy. I should have recorded it, but there's just so many times I just wanted to jump into it. I didn't want to have to set down to a schedule. I just wanted to beat it. So, especially when I started getting deeper and deeper into it, I was like, oh, I'm getting so close. I got to do this. So, especially the night before I beat it, it was getting late, and Patrick and I were, we were on. He was watching me play, and I was literally right in front of the main boss, the final boss, and I just got wrecked by Starman. Just completely destroyed. There was a Starman and a Starman, final Starman or something like that, and they just wrecked me. So
yeah.
But regardless, it was cool. If you haven't played Earthbound, you probably heard these spoilers, so oops. But it was a lot of fun. You should definitely check it out. There's a lot of things to like about it. It's just a Nintendo RPG. It was fun. I wish I would have played it sooner when I was a kid and actually given it the attention, because I had a lot of fun playing it. So,
yeah.
What have you been up to?
So always more Animal Crossing. In terms of what's new in Animal Crossing, recently had a bug off and then fishing tourney actually today. The bug off was in June. So those were kind of fun, like Saturday events where you run around your island trying to catch as many bugs and fish within a like 3-minute timer, and you like get points, and it was fun. Like the music's really fun. You get like points to exchange prizes and stuff for really cool kind of bug and fish themed kind of items. And if you're playing with friends, you get points faster. So it's kind of fun to play together with your like family and friends. And July, they released a big update for Animal Crossing in which you can now go diving and swimming around your island, which is really cool.
Yeah, I saw those updates.
So now you can just go swimming around your island and like dive for deep sea creatures like starfish and anemones. I always pronounce it like Finding Nemo.
Actually, I saw something on Nintendo of Europe the other day. It was a picture of somebody out in the ocean, but the play button was over it, and I was like, are they making a new wave race? What's going on? And I think got excited and thought it was something else, but then I realized it was just an Animal Crossing screen that I couldn't make out because of like the Twitter play button was like frozen over it, and I couldn't tell what it was. So that's what I ended up like when I looked really close at it. I was like, and I didn't see anyone else like mentioning it.
Yeah. The other two cool parts of the update that I really love, one is while you're diving, you can get scallops that you can trade for Pascal, the sea otter. He is like one of the best characters in Animal Crossing, because every time you trade an item with him, he'll give you like some furniture recipe, but then he also offers these like really trippy, like deep words of wisdom. He's like, man, riding fast on a slow bike is better than riding slow on a fast bike. But you know what's even better than that is water slides, man. It's just like
Tommy Chong.
I just love his like
it's organic, man.
Stupid funny. It's like, think about it. Roses have thorns for a reason. Leave them alone, man. It's just like,
thank you, Captain Obvious.
And then the other part of the update was you had a Gulliver before who would wash up on your shore, but now there's a pirate-themed Gulliver who's Gullivar, and he's wearing like pirate
That reminds
clothes.
me of Golf with Friends. Par.
Yes. Par. But I can't wait to get pirate-themed items for Animal Crossing, because that's exactly what I was making my house themed anyways, so I want it all. But besides Animal Crossing, I've been doing a lot of different streams on our channel. If you haven't seen them, check them out. They're all there for your enjoyment. But we had Pokemon Snap, we had Donkey Kong Country 2. Just recently, I started Wind Waker.
And did you have Zack and Wiki already? Was that?
I think I mentioned that last episode. But there's Zack and Wiki's up there. That's awesome. And for 4th of July, we also I did a cool stream for firework kind of themed games. So that one included Tetris Effect, Geometry Wars, Retro Evolved, and then sort of Mario RPG. I had technical difficulties, so I just ended up YouTubing the credits because I wanted to end on that note still, regardless. So I gave credit to whoever's video I watched. It's in the video, so.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It wasn't like I'm stealing gameplay or anything, you know. The credits are just credits for whoever plays it.
For sure.
So.
Absolutely. So, yeah, actually with streams, I did a stream the other day of the TurboGrafx Mini. Forgot to mention that. Just went through a couple of my favorite games on the TurboGrafx.
I watched a few of those clips. That was pretty cool, actually.
I'm horrible at those games for whatever reason. Like, I'm usually pretty good at blazing lasers. I get to, like, I don't know, the 5th or 6th level, and, you know, I find that fun because I can play it for, you know, 20, 30 minutes without dying or whatever. But But yeah, the other day I was horrible. I don't know if it's just playing through OBS instead of playing on the TV like I usually do, but it was pretty rough. But it was still fun to play a lot of those games. Blazing Lasers, we played Splatterhouse, the Ninja Gaiden port of for TurboGrafx, Ninja Spirit, and I think I also played Rondo of Blood, Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which is like the definitive version of Dracula X. Yeah, that was fun. So I definitely want to do more of that. That was just kind of on a whim. I came downstairs, wanted to play some games, and my Turbo Mini was there, ready to go. So
yeah. And then not much else new. I'm still playing Bug Fables, but I've already kind of described that last episode. I do think that's going to satisfy my Paper Mario itch, so I don't think I'll be picking up the new Paper Mario. I will probably pick up Ghost of Tsushima just so I can claim some of my store credit before anything happens to stores.
Yeah, I was actually planning on getting Paper Mario, which we can just talk about real quick. I thought that the trailer they announced the game with, it was amazing. Like, I saw that trailer, I thought, I want this game, this looks awesome.
Great trailer.
Yeah, trailer's still sure. Awesome. And the writing in the game looks great. But watching more of the gameplay, I know it's not going to be for me. Having to do battles like every 2 seconds in the way you have to do them is just going to get extremely tedious for me. Especially the boss fights being so tedious and like more of a strategy instead of just an RPG.
They look
it looked
long,
really long when they played that. And I was just like, I do not have the patience for this. I know I don't. So it kind of sucks because the Paper Mario games have always they've always interested me because everyone always talks of them highly. The only one I've played through the whole way was Super Paper Mario on the Wii, and I loved it. But that's like the most non-RPG Super Mario Paper Mario game, and
I still feel like you should check out the originals at some point.
Yeah, and I have them, so I just need to do it. Yeah. But so I'm a little disappointed, but I think I've made my decision that I'm not going to be buying that game now, which is good. It frees up some fun money for other stuff. So, but let's take a quick break. I want to check some video quality here that we have going on, and we'll be right back for more talk of the new Smash Brothers DLC. All right, guys, we are back. Everything is good on our end. Just wanted to make sure that we were okay. So Patrick can figure out how to transition this out or leave it in now.
We'll see. You always make it fun for me for editing.
I try. So one thing that we actually finally got the announcement of was the Smash DLC of the ARMS character.
The first fighter of the second pass.
Yeah, and that was from the ARMS franchise, which Nintendo really hasn't done much with since like the beginning of the Switch. And they released Min Min for the Win-Win. So yes. I know nothing about ARMS. So just real quick, I'm going to talk...
just tell me your quick impressions of what you thought of how Min Min.
From what I saw, the reveal trailer, I thought the animation was really cool at the beginning. It was like straight up Japanese anime, and it was really cool. Yeah. Captain Falcon and Kirby eating noodles, thought it was really cool how they announced that, and then of course they do the invites coming in and out and everything with all the different characters. So that was really cool, but I thought that her character overall was very detailed and looked really cool. As far as like when they showed like she could change like her she like changes her arms. She has like 2 or 3 different arms. But when I was just kind of looking at the quality of the modeling when she's standing there and she's got that little triangle thing swinging on her arm, and I just thought that was like, it looked so smooth for, you know, being in that game. I don't know, I just, for whatever reason, that really stood out to me, that they did a really good job on the details of that specific character. But other than that, like, I won't be buying her because I don't really play Smash anymore. It's been a really long time since I played Smash, other than, you know, playing with you and getting wrecked and getting mad. So,
we need to stream that just for the viewers at some point.
that might not be good. but anyway, like, I don't think I'll buy her. But, you know, I'm sure you know, people enjoy playing as her. I did like that they added a bunch of music as well. The spring stage, or the arms fighting arena stage, looked pretty cool.
The music is so good. Like, I listened to one of their new remixes, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that alone almost makes me want to buy it.
The music's so good, in, like, for almost everything in Smash. Like, I don't know, they're usually really good. I thought the arena looked really cool. I liked how the arches throughout the arena could be used as like things to save you from, like, you know, like a high damage smash or something like that, because you'll bounce and you could bounce off the ceiling if you like hit it right. You know, so I thought that was a really neat thing, you know, in the game. But I don't know, just one of those things I probably will never play unless I'll probably never see unless I play an online game and somebody has it. But
I'm tempted, but I might wait just to see who more of the characters are in the past to see if I want to pick up just that character or pick up the pass. So I'm kind of just waiting and seeing still. But I thought she was really cool. First of all, I'm glad that Min is a good pick. More interesting than what would have been like Springman or Ribbon Girl.
I expected Springman.
So I was still secretly rooting for Twintail, but Min is definitely a fun and good pick otherwise.
And Springman's he's an assist trophy, right?
He is an assist trophy. So I'm sure they could have got around that.
I did like the final smash. Her final smash was like all the arms fighters coming out and just like beating the out of you. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's just really really cool animation. I don't know, all the final smashes are pretty neat with that. So,
and I think she's a really cool fighter in a way that each of her arms is controlled independently through the A and B button, so that you can like punch even in like 2 different directions at the same time. That's very unique for like a character in that game.
It's kind of like game breaking. You think about it, especially how far she can punch too, with like with the grappling or the extended spring arms or whatever. So I'm very curious to see like how she plays or like how other players use her. So I will definitely be interested in seeing how that develops. Have you bought any of the DLC characters that have come out yet? Just Banjo. And you got Piranha Plant, right? When they gave that out.
Piranha Plant, because it was free when
you bought the game. Okay. Well, same here. I got Banjo just because, you know, I had gold coins. I figured that reveal trailer was so awesome for Banjo. I was sucked in, even though I've never been a big Banjo like fan.
It just has been a dream of mine since like childhood. So that one was absolutely.
I've always liked Banjo as a character. The games always kind of turn me off with stuff. Like I've tried playing them, and I just get irritated.
Character, but the goofiness, the music.
That was exactly why I had to get Banjo for sure. But yeah,
and just to have that kind of like Banjo versus Mario rivalry, like how they kind of competed for what were like 3D platformers of that era.
Sure. So we'll see what comes up next. I mean, there's nothing right now.
If anything, it just made me want to play ARMS again. So
I know they had like a free trial for it a while ago, and I meant to play it and just didn't. So I think the only time I've actually played ARMS was the Switch event we went to in February of 2017 before it came out.
That's right.
That was the only time I ever played ARMS. But I didn't think it was personally, I didn't think it was worth $60 at the gate. So
it's not, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to support a new IP for the launch. So yeah.
So yeah, the next news. This is what we kind of spawned after. It was like the week after our podcast.
I think it was like
after
2 days after that podcast, and then like there was another Pokemon announcement the week after that.
So they did an announcement. They talked about Pokemon Smile and Pokemon Cafe Mix. And the Smile thing, I'm going to try with my son. I haven't done it yet. No, I haven't. I kept meaning to. I just forgot. He is always interested. Like, he sees me looking at my phone, and if he sees a video or anything going on my phone, he gets real nosy. So I have to be careful when I'm, like, watching on, like, YouTube or Facebook around him. Because he'll try to, like, peek into the phone. And he's repeated a couple things that, like, you know, nothing bad, but, like, he's repeated it, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, it was somebody yelling, shut up, and he was like, shut up. And I was like, oh, I should probably not do this. So,
it's always funny how kids can, like, find the worst things to pick out.
Yeah, it was just really random. It was just something stupid. Yeah. But yeah, so I want to try that out. But I'll let you take it from here, because this is your baby.
Yeah. After they showed those two games, they started showing a new project, and you see like a beach and like a big old whale Pokemon surface, and then you see a Pikachu kind of on the sand. And you're like, well, that feels very reminiscent of a beloved Pokemon Snap game in my childhood. And then all of a sudden you see the camera shutter. You're like,
and then Patrick gets a message from me that says Pokemon Snap ? So,
oh my goodness, I am so happy. Pokemon Snap is back, baby. Oh my gosh. After what has it been?
96 or something like that, right? 98?
20 years? I don't know. Forever. But it is back, and oh my gosh, it looks gorgeous. Coming from what was once the N64 era to now these like beautiful HD visuals. It's a whole new game. They have like 700 plus Pokemon they could use now if they want. I doubt they'll use them all.
And everyone will complain that the whole Pokedex is not in the game.
Nah. Whatever they choose to do, it's going to be more than the like 48 that they used in the N64
I'm sure they'll at least have the original 151, I think.
Yeah. Like the original Pokemon Snap didn't even have all the Pokemon, and no one complained then. So, what I think it was really interesting in the trailer was the fact that they showed kind of like environments in like the day and night time. So I'm wondering if there's like replayability in that sense where you can kind of revisit stages and there'll be like different Pokemon depending on the time of day that you visit. That'd be really cool. And there are so many cool possibilities that they could do for this, and like the means that they could have for like sharing pictures now, because I know there's no more Blockbusters to print your stickers now, but we have a thing called the internet now, and we can like share pictures and different platforms. I think this is going to be a really fun experience. I'm so glad that they're giving this another chance.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with the picture sharing. If they just expect you to use like the share button on the Joy-Con to share through like Facebook or something like that, or through Twitter. Or if they'll give you like an option to like link to Shutterfly or something. It'd be kind of ridiculous, but it all just depends on how far back they take this.
They'll probably create another like Poke platform like they have Pokemon Home and Pokemon Bank and like
Pokemon Photo Center. Ritz camera Pokemon.
And then people will pay another like $10 a year to use it.
Yeah, probably. It'll be like a cloud storage for your Pokemon photos.
Yep.
$1 a month, something like that. $5 a month.
But still, it'll be
I
fun.
never played Pokemon Snap. I know you streamed it. You've told me it's kind of like an on-rail shooter in a sense. So
yeah, it's very like arcadey, puzzly kind of. It's a very unique game, and I argue to anyone who wants to, for my hot take here, it's the best Pokemon game to be found in the series.
Ooh, in the series.
It's the best Pokemon game because it best represents what I think is the Pokemon world, like seeing Pokemon naturally interact in their environment. It's just such a cool game.
I'll have to check it out for sure. I'll watch more as they release more, about the new one coming out, because I don't think I want to go back and play it on N64.
Yeah,
I could always just watch your video. Too.
I doubt it's coming anytime soon. Probably next year at the earliest. But so excited that it exists now. That's enough for me. So
yeah. So if you're don't have anything else to say about that, we can talk about the next Pokemon announcement. So
yes. So let's set it up a little bit. They had all these announcements and Pokemon Snap 2, and everyone's like, yeah. And then they're like, we have a bigger announcement next week. Stay tuned.
And this was weeks ago, so I'm sure you already know where we're going with this, but
everyone's thinking like, what could be bigger than Pokemon Snap? Or this must be a Let's Go or Johto.
And that's what I was kind of hoping for when I saw those rumors. I was like, all right, cool, because Let's Go was the first time I actually beat the Kanto region. So just because in the past I just never played all the way through, I'd probably get like 5 badges and then stop. But just being able to like run away from Pokemon in the wild was great. So I was really looking forward to a remake of Gen 2 in on the Switch. I probably would have picked it up day one just to run through that environment. So it was 1 week after this announcement comes up. Here we go. We have an announcement. Last week we shared with you. You have this, and it's Pokemon Unite. And when they show the game, it's a MOBA and uninteresting to me. I mean,
like not even like. Is it just disappointing that it's a MOBA, which fine, whatever, that has its audience, but it just looks like the most bland, uninspiring version of a MOBA. It's like not using the Pokemon in any interesting sort of way. Like their types and like weaknesses don't even like matter in this. It's just like, where's the spirit of Pokemon in this? It's just so boring.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like those type of games regardless. So as soon as I saw that's what it was, I was like, well, I guess it's another game I'm not buying this year. I mean, well, do you even have to buy this, or is it like free? It's going to be on like mobile platforms and everything too. So because they did a gameplay demo with the president of the Pokemon Company playing against like a bunch of streamers from like Pokken tournament and stuff like that, and I was like, of course they're gonna, they're not gonna show the video where the president loses. So so you know who wins.
I love how they like announced everybody's name on the president's team, and then they went to the other team and they're like,
it's like all these people, and they're just like little squares, and it's like, man, they got no love.
And everyone knows.
Yeah. So, and they showed like some of the guys playing it on like iPhones, other people playing it on Switch and everything. But yeah, that was a big disappointment. I mean, I guess the only people to be disappointed is ourselves, because we set ourselves up for that, But I don't know how you can say we have a bigger announcement next week when you just said Pokemon Snap remake is coming out that everyone's been like wanting for years, like a 20-year-old remake, and then
like I give them credit in that this is Pokemon kind of doing something new and charting new frontier, which is cool. But yeah, that was definitely mismanaged expectations, and they did not read the audience for that.
So, I don't know. It's not for me.
It was funny.
If you enjoy those games, good for you. You can play it with Pokemon now and hopefully enjoy it. But I don't know. I'm sure we'll get some more news here eventually when we get some sort of direct again, when things normalize, if they ever normalize. But yeah, that kind of wraps up Pokemon news, I think.
Yeah, and then there's just a slew of so many other game showcases that have been happening over the past few weeks. Everybody wants to showcase games.
we had a bunch of the game was Summer Game Fest stuff. Was still going on?
Well, there was the Summer of Gaming. There was like New Game Plus Expo.
New Game Plus Expo.
There was some kind of EA showcase. There was Devolver Digital, which just happened today, actually. I think there was one or two other ones. I forget what they're called. Gorilla Showcase.
Did we talk about Tony Hawk last time? Was that on the last episode?
We did cover
I couldn't remember
Hawk,
when that was. So.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the next game from the Summer of Gaming that we haven't talked about, I think, was the Crash Bandicoot 4 announcement.
So they're essentially...
Which we could jump into that if we want.
I mean, I don't have too much to say about it. It looked like more Crash. Remodeled better, as from the same team that did the remakes of the originals that came out a few years ago. They're basically...
It's interesting that they are like kind of rebooting the series, but like taking it from the point where they kind of just the first 3 games and kind of ignoring the rest.
I have the remastered versions on Switch. I picked them up because my wife, she always liked Crash Bandicoot, and I figured that was a good grab. However, like neither of us have really played it. I think I played the first one until like the 3rd level where you're riding a pig, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I hate Crash Bandicoot. It's just that camera, the perspective's so hard to like deal with, and his like
those games can be very frustrating and kind of how
I don't think they age very well with the perspective and like the depth perception of trying to jump over a pit. I would always like fall into it before jumping or just jump too short, and I think some of the side-scrolling stuff plays a little better than the front to back, or like if you're running towards the camera, like away from the boulder and stuff like that. It was definitely an interesting time because that was Sony's platformer to kind of go after Mario. I did like the marketing where they used to have like the Crash Bandicoot guy and the mascot outside of Nintendo yelling through a microphone. So I thought that was cool. And then they actually brought that back for this announcement on the Summer Game Fest. So I thought that was a nice little touch of nostalgia from like '97.
Small segue. If they were ever to make Crash into Smash Brothers, I would love it to be a Mii fighter, just so that it would look like that mascot.
Mii with the Crash helmet on.
Yes, that's the only way I would accept Crash.
That would actually be amazing.
And have him be a brawler, just like spin around and stuff. It would work. It would work.
That'd be funny.
And we forgot to mention there was also the Fallout guy who was recently added to.
Yeah. And then I saw everyone saying that now glitches will be because Bethesda's now in the thing. Will now have glitches in Smash.
People are like, has anyone noticed Smash getting more glitchy with the inclusion?
Which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But and they said that, like, the thing that was kind of cool, I guess, with let's just go back to Smash real quick since we're on that topic. They said that they said that if spirit fights existed with existing characters that were then added, they would be modified to have those new characters.
They're actually patching or updating
I think that's pretty cool.
So the example they gave was like there was a spirit for Cuphead, and if you happen to own the Cuphead DLC fighter, then they will replace that spirit battle with the Cuphead fighter, which is pretty cool.
Well, back to Crash. I mean, I guess I'll check it out. I'm curious for sure. I've probably played every Crash. I just never really played them all the way through. I probably played them a couple worlds in and then just kind of gave up. But I'm interested to check it out. We'll see if it comes to like Game Pass or something like that. Maybe I'll check it out. It will be on...
Yeah, it's definitely one I'll keep an eye on. It's nothing that seems to jump out to me to be too exciting, but at the same time, I do kind of have respect for them trying to bring the series back in an interesting way. It kind of reminds me of when they brought back Donkey Kong Country, but I doubt it'll be anything of that caliber. But the fact that Retro Studios was able to do that and did it so well, like, it's something to definitely keep an eye on, I think.
There's a big Crash fan base. I'm sure those people are extremely excited. So
I'll be interested to see what they do with it. Yeah. Other games. There's so many games. I just gonna kind of rattle off games.
We didn't talk about the jump rope challenge last time.
We skipped it.
Okay, we did skip that. I thought we talked about that last time. I couldn't remember.
No.
So yeah, we did get.
So. Well,
no, there's not much to say, but like yeah. we got a Nintendo Jump Rope Challenge game that was announced at like another 11 o'clock at night announcement. Which, you know, the last time we got that, it was Paper Mario, and this time we get, you know, this Jump Rope Challenge game, which is literally like a hand-drawn rabbit that you just shake your Joy-Cons.
And all you do is shake your Joy-Cons.
And then he jumps a rope. So, and then
most recently they added extra costumes for this hand-drawn rabbit, so you can look like other Nintendo characters.
Yeah, so it's free. I assume maybe you have to pay for.
I think it's free until like September. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, just we'll mention it. I have no interest in playing it after the first time I loaded it up, and not that I expected anything out of it. It's just it's very very random.
So random.
So I think they just kind of did that as like.
But I guess good on Nintendo for caring about their people's health and being stuck inside. So. Next on the list we have a game called Spinch. I think if I'm pronouncing that right. If you forget what that is, that's that like Game Boy looking one.
Oh yeah.
That was like very trippy. The composer was like actually like making music using like different parts of like Game Boys and other systems.
I remember that. That was that looked pretty cool. It was very very trippy. It was like it's like your entire color palette flashing across the screen as you like warp through stuff. Yeah, check that out. That looks pretty interesting. I mean, we just saw that on a quick like playthrough. Was that on the New Game Expo? I think that was part of the New Game Plus Expo.
So. Yeah. See, I'm losing track of with how many expos and things showcases there are. That.
So, but yeah, no, check that out for sure.
But it definitely looked cool. Check out the trailer. We'll have footage on the YouTube version of this podcast, but I just wanted to mention it because it stood out. Then EA also had a press conference where I wanted to highlight two games. Obviously, their big one that they highlighted was a new Star Wars Squadrons, which is basically like a Star Wars game that's all kind of like X-Wings and TIE Fighter dogfights.
Did you ever play the old X-Wing and like Rebel Assault games on PC back in like the 90s? No, those were fun.
The only really like X-Wing game I played was the Rogue Squadron for like GameCube, I think it was. So
I know like Rebel Assault and TIE Fighter, those are like two PC ones, and they were, you know, people loved those when they came out, and I've from what I've heard, people are saying that it looks kind of similar to that, so it's kind of nice to have that come back, because I guess they haven't really had the in-ship battles like as much in most recent games. So
so it looks cool, and the fact that it's very like focused on what it wants to do. It does seem very kind of also limited in that aspect, like that's like kind of all the game is, but at the same point they're kind of like pricing it accordingly. I think it's only going to be like a $40 game, which is kind of cool, and it looks gorgeous. So I'm definitely interested in it for sure.
Yeah, they also we just had Star Wars Episode 1 Racer remake come out on Switch. I don't know if it came out on anything else, but that just released like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, or like the end of January or the end of June, I think is when that came out. So everyone says it plays great. Yeah. So everyone says it's fun. You know, if you like the original, you'll like this one. So if you for some reason forgot about that game's out as well. So check that out. Another Star Wars game. That's probably the last one I ever played after like Shadow of the Empire.
And then the other game they showed that I kind of wanted to highlight real quick in their stream was this little game called Lost in Random, which really it just stood out to me because of the art style. Looked like very Tim Burton-ish, which I thought was cool. I'm a sucker for Tim Burton kind of art aesthetics. It looked like kind of just like a quirky type of adventure game. They didn't really show too much gameplay, but yeah, the art direction just looks really cool, so I'm definitely keen to see more of it.
The New Game Expo Plus, I believe, is what, or the New Game Plus Expo, I think is where we saw it. They announced that the Bloodstained team will be making Curse of the Moon 2, which actually comes out like next week, I think, or a week or two. It's not too far. I'm pretty sure it was a July release date. I think it was like the 23rd, maybe. I don't know.
I can double check real quick.
But yeah, if you.
But that's really cool, just because this is based off what was the like, not even like the real Bloodstained, but like the pseudo prequel.
Yeah, so they did Curse
did.
of the Moon as like kind of a we're sorry to the like. At least that's kind of the way I interpreted that. Like, because Bloodstained was supposed to come out, there's a bunch of issues with it coming out. It kept getting delayed. It was a Kickstarter game, and
it's available,
now. Okay, so, well, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 is out.
There you go.
So check it out if you like the first one. I played the first one. I thought it was fun. I've always liked the idea of Castlevania games, but I've never been good at them. It's just they're a little clunky to me, but this one is different. You have 4 characters. Each character kind of has their own ability. You can switch through them on the fly to kind of get past, certain obstacles. If you ever played a game on NES, it's a very rare game. Not a lot of people played it. It was Little Samson. Kind of has that same gameplay mechanic where you switch between characters. Kind of, hell, you could say like Ninja Turtles on NES as well. But it's just cool because like you get these, you have different abilities to, make the level easier or harder depending on how you're trying to get through it. But I got pretty far in the first one. I don't think I beat it. I think I got to some Grim Reaper boss that was just kind of beating me pretty bad. But I did like it enough that I think I'll probably check out the second one. I should go back and finish the first one, but it's really good. And that's pretty sweet that they just kind of dropped that out of nowhere. Especially after the Bloodstained game that came out was kind of like hit or miss on reviews. Some people really liked it.
Yeah.
Some people didn't. The performance was kind of up in the air depending on what console you played it on. But Curse of the Moon, like everyone who's played Curse of the Moon seems to have really enjoyed it. So it makes sense that they made a second one. And the fact that we got it like a couple weeks after announcement and nobody knew anything about it is pretty cool.
And then next game on this list here, I think this was from the Guerrilla Showcase, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to highlight it just because it stood out to me. It's a game called Potionomics. And you are a shopkeeper who is trying to sell like potions and other magical items to like turn a profit. But it is a card-based game.
Yeah, no interest
where
for me.
The cards you use...
This is all you.
It's really weird though. Hold on. The cards that you play are like different like social cues in which that you try to like persuade the customers to buy your merchandise. It's really weird and interesting. So you're like playing cards as like different like types of conversation or like joking or flattering and stuff, and you're like, look at this amazing product I have here.
I got you. So you're like a snake oil salesman.
But the animation just looks gorgeous. It just really popped out to me, and just the uniqueness of the gameplay. It was a game that stood out to me, and I thought it was pretty cool. And then most recently, today, as of recording, there was the Devolver Digital event. And 2 games I wanted to highlight there. One is called Fall Guys. Where it's basically 60 people and like these just absurdly silly kind of like dummy suits are like walking around waddling and stuff, trying to go through obstacle courses, and it's like a battle royale where only one little person will kind of be left standing as who will not like bounce each other off to fall into like the pits and stuff. As like giant fruit and like bowling pins and stuff roll at you and stuff. So it looks like a funny, silly, kind of enjoyable game. And that comes out on August 4th. And then they showed this game last year, but it looks pretty much the same. But from what they still show, it just looks awesome still. That Carrion game where you're like a giant mutant red space alien that is just destroying everything in this facility. And you get to play as the monster. It looks so good.
I only saw the few seconds of it before we started doing this recording, and it reminded me of some old games I've played on PC. So just the way the map is and stuff you jump through. So
yeah. and that comes out very soon. Actually, it's coming out July 23rd.
Cool.
So yeah.
So the last thing you have here is No More Heroes 3 trolling that was done.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So I know about the one from the New Game Plus Expo where the developer was talking and it was playing in the background, but his face was in front of it as he talked.
But his head was just like blocking it. Everyone was like trying to look around.
Because he's basically
like
whoa, me, right? If you're on the video for you just see this and the game's playing behind him.
I don't care what you're talking about. Move. I want to see.
So I watched that. I didn't realize that's what it was because I never really played those games before, but I did see everyone talking about it afterwards. But I thought it was a very random intro. I was like, what's he like? Why is this guy just talking about he's talking about how he had a backlog game collection. He's like, I haven't played Super Mario Odyssey yet, and it was just very random and weird. So that makes more sense now once once people said it's what it was. So I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then
most recently now, in today's Devolver Digital event, they had a kind of credits montage where they're showing all the actors who kind of recorded this event and stuff, and they're all kind of doing poses and stuff, and they have credits music rolling that they made for this event. It was a really weird event, but it was fun. But in one random shot, they had this director for No More Heroes 3, and they had him kind of just standing in front of gameplay footage again, and you're like, what? You weren't even in the event. What are you doing here? You're like, No More Heroes 3, what? And then it just quickly goes away. You're like, no, come back. So he's just inserting himself everywhere, teasing.
That's funny. And then what's the game that Devolver just released on Steam so you can watch all these trailers?
Yes. So hold on, I got it up on Steam here still. If you go to Steam, you can download a free game called Devolverland Expo, and it basically puts you inside a kind of virtual expo center. It's actually a game though, where you're roaming around and having to find these booths so that you can watch the trailers shown in this Devolver Digital event. But what's really interesting is they actually have more trailers that weren't shown, and if you find enough collectibles playing this weird game, you can find a means to view even more trailers than were shown in the event. So I don't know, I thought it was a very clever and creative means. I'm probably going to go back and play it, even though I could probably just search it on YouTube and find the videos myself.
That's pretty cool though, for sure. I mean, you could probably just search through the Steam assets too and probably find the videos and just play them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they encoded them, but I know I used to do that on PlayStation back in the day. I'd put the Tony Hawk game in my PC, and then I could play the music videos for the songs because they would be playing in the background on some of the levels. And you're talking super tiny, pixelated, but the music was there. So I used to do that every now and then. It was kind of funny.
That's funny.
But I'm sure encryption's all changed since the PS1 era.
Yeah, but it's actually pretty fun, so I don't mind playing through it. I'm shooting a t-shirt cannon at these flying robots and stuff.
Yeah, it looked pretty fun for sure. So...
yeah.
And then, I mean, I guess we can go back to Friday, the 10th. They showed Nintendo did a Treehouse Live event for
basically just Paper Mario.
Paper Mario Origami King, and that's kind of there's been a lot of videos of gameplay and stuff since then, but this was the first time I actually paid attention to it. And that's when I made my decision to not buy it that I spoke about earlier. But the big reason we watched it was because Nintendo made an announcement that WayForward would be announcing a new property they were working on. And then...
to which they quickly then did a clarification tweet, this is not a first party.
Yeah, so they said it's a third party WayForward game. And we're like, okay, but if it's a Nintendo showcase during an event, you'd think that it's going to be something where it's all right, it's a third-party game, but we're going to give them some assets, and they can do something with it. And then they did the Treehouse, and they play it, and then they were like, well, we're going to show you the Paper Mario trailer again, the announcement trailer, which ends with a Metroid teaser of Mario putting on a paper Metroid helmet and going pew pew pew, and
And even though they gave that clarification statement, like everyone's heart is still kind of set on some kind of Metroid collaboration with WayForward. Because if you know anything about that company and a lot of the games they make, they would be perfect fit for it, especially with like their Shantae games.
And that's the thing. Like I feel like people are so what happened. Let's just get into what happened first, then we'll talk about it. So, and I'm sure you've probably already seen it and know, but they break it out and it's like WayForward Games develop. We're gonna show you this quick trailer. Check it out, a new game, and they play it, and then it's immediately was it Bakugan? Like was it like an offshoot Pokemon or Tops game or something like that?
Yeah, playing some like 90s rock music. I don't know.
Yeah, I literally started laughing. I was like, I started laughing just at the fact of like everyone's gonna be so right now, and that this is why Nintendo was immediately like, it's a third-party game, and we still like expected I expected it'd be a third-party game, but it would have some sort of Nintendo tie-in, but.
I just expected it to be worthy and interesting of attention if they took the means to actually like.
To include it on a treehouse for like your biggest game coming out, like the last game that we know of for 2020.
This is so bad. This is like sizzle reel material. It's just like, and I went back and actually like look, like when I saw that at first, I just immediately turned it off and just.
And I would.
I did go back and look at it though, and it even looks.
That's
horrible.
What people were saying.
Like the animation is bad. The just like loading screens are horrible. I was listening to like the person describe the game is like, so there are like 60 Bakugans in the game. And, wait, actually there are, wait for it, 61. And I was just like,
I think it was 80. I think it was. I think it was 80 and 81 or something like that.
Or 80, 81.
I saw people talking about that.
Oh, 81. Okay.
Yeah, it's. Although I saw some people too online saying that it looked better than Sword and Shield, and that was causing some ruckus on the internet. So, but
yeah, that was a much bigger disappointment to me than what was Pokemon MOBA.
For sure, like I just don't get why they got there. Like, why was that announced? Like, check out a new game from WayForward during our event, and it was like, all right. I feel like that'd be a way forward, saying, check out our game. We're gonna, here's the trailer and dropping it, not like being part of a like I said,
clearly somebody was owed a favor. Horribly mismeasured what the expectations were. And I feel others and that probably were obligated to do so. And we're like, God, I know. I'm sorry. We're sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. If I know that, I mean, I do know kids that liked Bakugan that are now like, that's what I'm saying. Like now they're like, old enough and they're probably gonna jump into this, but still, it was just so random. Like such a random thing I was not expecting. I was expecting like some people were throwing out ideas of like, a Cadence of Hyrule, but like with something else or just some other property that had a tie-in. I think that's really what I was hoping for. Something that looked semi-interesting, because right now, like, I just played Earthbound. I played a game from like 20 years ago, and I've got nothing to play really. I mean, I've got plenty to play, but I want to play something new. Like,
but basically, we are playing our backlogs now, and we're waiting for somebody to give us something.
We're all thirsty for new games, and I should really use this time to beat like Luigi's Mansion 3 or the Secret of Mana collection that I've played, and I haven't played any of it. That I bought and I haven't played any of it. So there's
the best part about that Paper Mario presentation, though, was definitely that one announcer's big old fro. He had a very impressive
fantastic fro. That was almost like.
That is putting the quarantine the kid use.
that was very impressive, I will say. That was like the most perfectly round fro I think I've ever seen. That was very well done.
He almost like his own version of a toad or something.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. So for sure, like I hope the next video it's like even bigger, and you can compare it together because that was very impressive. He needs to keep that going for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much wraps up everything new since our last video.
Yeah. We may have been able to keep it short this time.
Maybe just over an hour, about an hour and 15, I think, is what we're gonna end up ending on. The latest rumor, I guess we can go with, is that there will be a full Nintendo Direct on January 20th. That is the current rumors floating around from somebody who apparently, I
also saw that I think GameStop or someplace has updated their SKUs recently, so that might be also hinting towards
some releases.
Something soon.
And we also got real quick, we got 3 new games for the Nintendo Switch Online service. Those announced. You got Donkey Kong Country.
Most notably is Donkey Kong Country.
And then Natsume Wrestling for SNES, and then you've got the Immortal for NES, which I've only played Donkey Kong Country out of those, and that's really cool that game's back on there, because for whatever reason, I don't have that game anymore. I don't know why. I did. I used to have them all, and I don't have them anymore, so...
I mean, it's on your SNES Classic.
But I mean, my original cart, I don't have it anymore for whatever reason. So I'm going to have to go buy another one just to have in the collection.
Well...
but it is cool that it's on Switch now. I might play it because I think the SNES games have been a little bit more enjoyable for me playing on Switch. So, which is why I really wanted Earthbound to come to Switch. So instead, I ended up playing it on my Super Nintendo on the original cartridge. So look forward to Earthbound coming out on Switch soon, since I finally did that.
Yes. Yes, now that Chad has done it, now the Nintendo Direct can drop, and now we can get Mother 3.
That's what I think's going to happen. And
they waited for you, Chad.
I think that's what it is. I'm gonna spark that. That's gonna be what we spark this time. We're gonna spark a Direct, and we're gonna get some Mother news. So, and which will be great because I did start up the Mother 3 English translation, and it looks fun.
It really did make me want to play it.
Yeah, we just booted that up for a minute just to check out the intro, and it was like, I want to play more now. So, so now that I've beaten Earthbound, I'm in that Mother 3 fan group now, and hopefully we get that soon to Switch. We get some more news with the next drop. So I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. So stay tuned for more news. Hopefully we'll have a Direct, and we'll get another episode recorded.
Yeah, real soon. Yeah. But until next time, everyone, stay safe out there.
Stay sane.
And
play your backlog.
Yep.
And
perfect
enjoy.
time.
See you
Happy
guys.
gaming.